Hi, my name is Kendall Lewis, and this is my portfolio for the Advanced Digital Literacy emphasis of my master's program at National University. So my first page on my portfolio is a welcome page that just has a little bit of information about me. I'm an elementary school teacher. Most of my experience is teaching first grade. I've also taught second grade for a little bit as well. I love elementary school and the primary age students, specifically because it's just so amazing that they can learn these 21st century skills of using technology very quickly at such a young age. And that's something that's kind of inspired me and made me want to move forward with this emphasis in digital literacy so that I can learn more about technology, more about the digital tools, and how I can incorporate them into my classroom. All right, so ADL 630 was the first course in the digital literacy program. This was instructional design for a digital environment. One of the first assignments that we did was we created a digital Bloom's taxonomy, which was really, I thought it was kind of a fun assignment. We're already familiar with Bloom's taxonomy. We learn about it going way back into our credential programs, but it was interesting to take the Bloom's taxonomy and the levels of thinking and then add in digital tools that relate to those different levels of thinking and how you can incorporate those tools when you're designing a lesson and what level of thinking you want your students to be at and which digital tools work at that level and how you can create a lesson with those different tools. So I thought that was extremely helpful and relevant to today's time when we're learning online right now anyway, and which tools that we can use and how we can match them to the different levels of thinking. That was one of the first assignments we did. Another assignment we did was created a lesson plan, and before we did this lesson plan, we created an ID matrix of all the different learning theories and instructional design models. We did this with a partner, and we were able to collaborate and fill out our ID matrix of all the different learning theories, and we were able to share them with each other, and then we were able to learn about all of them in a kind of a quicker manner instead of all just reading about them separately. I thought that was really helpful, especially when designing a lesson, because in this lesson, I was able to do a rationale and refer to which learning theories and instructional design model I was using, and being able to refer to that ID matrix was really helpful. And I even have it saved on my Google Drive still, so I can use it in the future when designing more lesson plans. This lesson I designed was about a science lesson about the different beams of light. And like I said, the ID matrix was really helpful when designing it and referring to which learning theories I was using, as well as which instructional design model I wanted to use. In this course, we also were introduced to the ISTE standards, which I never knew about them before, but learning about them now, they're going to be something that I'm going to be using a lot in my teaching as I move forward, because they're so helpful with learning about technology and incorporating technology into the classroom. I really like that they have standards for students, they have standards for teachers, and they have standards for administrators. These are something that I used in all the other ADL courses I took, and probably will be using them as I move forward into my teaching and when I'm designing lessons that have digital tools or technology included to them. And it's helpful to have those standards to refer back to so that I know my students are using technology correctly and that I'm instructing how to use technology correctly as well. So the next course in this program was ADL 632, Instructional Development and Evaluation. In this course, we were introduced to the maker movement, which includes robotics and coding. I have some experience working and teaching coding, but learning about robotics and the maker movement was newer to me, and I was really interested in that component of this class. The first activity that I included on here that we did was I did a lesson or like an activity that included robotics. And in this lesson, it relates to history, social science, where students are going to use like Google Draw. They create a map, and then we're going to print out these maps and use these robotic tools called B-bots, where they can maneuver the B-bots and they can they can tell the B-bots where to go on the map. So they are using robotics in this activity. So I thought it was really fun to create this activity because I'd never done an activity with robotics before, and it was interesting to see what kind of activity I could come up with. And I am pretty proud of this activity, and it's something that I hope to do one day in the classroom. Another assignment that I included was another activity that we had to create using a Web 2.0 tool, and I chose to use this website called Scratch, which is a coding website. I've used it before with my first grade students, and in this activity, it's also related to history, social science. You'll kind of see that theme moving forward as the rest of my ADL courses. In this activity, students are coding a map of the 7 continents, and on this map they have to code when your cursor rolls over the picture, it says the continent's name. So they have to code when the cursor rolls over, it's going to pop up, oh, that's North America. And they're also adding in a voice recording with their coding. So this activity was something I've done before with my students, and it was really cool to be able to write about it in this class and kind of relate that into my experience. And I have a picture right here. These are the B-bots, and this is what the Scratch coding activity looks like. Another thing we did in this course was we created a Pinterest board using the Horizon report, where they talked about the hurdles and accelerators of digital tools in education, and we created a Pinterest board around that. This was extremely fun for me because I'm a big Pinterest person, and I've already kind of had like a teaching board, but I created a separate board for educational technology, and I created it around the hurdles and accelerators Horizon report, which was one of the most insightful things I think I've read in this program so far, just because I related a lot to a lot of the hurdles about, digital equity, and not everyone has access to computers. So it was just something that I thought was extremely important to read, and I'm creating this Pinterest board around that to get ideas on how to, go past the hurdles and how to stay with the accelerators. Right, so the next course is ADL 634, which was online and mobile learning. In this course, we created a Moodle course. It was my first time working with a learning management system. So the 2 assignments I included was our online course outline. This is the first time I've created a course outline. Just as an elementary school teacher, I don't really create outlines for my classes since I teach all subjects. So it's hard to create an outline for the entire class. So this is my first time creating an outline, and I thought it was really helpful to learn how to create a course outline. If in the future I want to do an online course, if I want to teach something online, or even if I want to create a syllabus for maybe each unit that I do in my elementary school classroom, it was really helpful to learn how to create one. So I have my course description, my instructor bio, who are my learners, coming up with the course objectives and detailed course outline of what each week that we were doing. And this was something that I am pretty proud of that I created. And then that relates directly to my Moodle course that I created in this class. And this assignment is just a Moodle course assignments outline. So it goes over all the assignments I incorporated into my Moodle course. The Moodle course is something that I would be extremely proud of during this class, just because it's something I've never done before, and learning how to maneuver and work through a learning management system is completely new to me. So I thought that was extremely helpful, and creating that and learning how to embed all the activities I wanted and use all the different digital tools that I wanted to incorporate into my Moodle course. It was just extremely helpful, and I felt this class as a whole was extremely relevant due to distance learning and online learning. It was extremely relevant to learn how to be a good online instructor and how to create a great online learning program, learning class or course, just because it just relates and it's so relevant. And I just included a little snapshot of what my Moodle course looks like. And then the last course is ADL 636, which was Assessment, and Evaluation in a Digital Classroom. Assessment is something I felt like I've always struggled with, so I was really excited to start this course, and everything that we've learned in this course is extremely helpful, and it's been a really good learning experience for me. So my two activities I included were my infographic. I did in my infographic, which relates to all the other lessons I've done about like history and social science about maps. That was actually what my Moodle course was about the different types of maps. So I made an infographic about types of maps. I really had a good time making this one as well. I thought it was something fun to be creative, and I think infographics are something that I'm going to use more often moving forward, just because I think they're extremely beneficial for students and visually appealing, and it makes information just seem easier to grasp, and I'm excited to create more of these. I also incorporated my digital assessment, which was a Kahoot that I created on the 7 continents, so it relates again to the lessons that I've been doing and creating throughout ADL and also into my Moodle course. I think that doing assessments online is a great alternative for like doing them in like the classroom on like pen and paper, or using different digital tools as a form of assessment. I think is something that I want to do more often, and I'm excited that we were able to learn about different types of digital tools that could be used as an assessment. I also included just a little bit about rubrics and assessments, because I felt like learning how to create a rubric in this course was something that I'll take away from this course and continuously apply in my teaching practices. I never really created a rubric before, so learning what's important to include in a rubric and what's not important to include in a rubric was very helpful to me, as well as learning about all the different kinds of formative assessments and summative assessments. Those are those terms are terms I've learned about, throughout my whole teaching career, but being able to really dive into the difference between formative assessments and summative assessments and different examples of each, I thought was very helpful in this course as well. So, and also on my homepage, I did incorporate the mind map we created in ADL 636. I thought it was a good thing to put on my homepage because it goes through everything that we did, everything that I've learned in advanced digital literacy, and all the terms that relate to my learning. I think this is just a great visual example to demonstrate everything that I've learned in this emphasis, and also includes some questions that I do still have, something that I can continually move on and research myself after taking all these courses. So yeah, this is my digital portfolio. I will share the link on the discussion board so you can explore it on your own. So thank you so much.